1 diamond per trip. Okay, purchase new ticket to one of you. Let's go for 5 trips. Please deposit 3 diamonds. 1, 2, 3. Done. Please take your ticket. Nice. Hey! How's it going? And welcome back to MyRail. In this episode, we're going to be extending the ticket gate system we done in the last episode to make it more of a ticket network system where people can purchase tickets which will let them ride numerous times on the network. So, let's get started. In the last episode, we set up the gates here so that as long as you've got the right item in your offhand, you can get down to the platforms, which is quite cool. And you can see that in between episodes, I've added some more MTR gates in, just to protect the people from accessing the track when the trains aren't here. And I've added some more decorations, such as signage and stuff up the top here. And all the gates are now working, so it doesn't matter which gate we choose. As long as we have the correct item in our inventory, we can access the gate. They aren't currently configured up, so I can access the attraction gate even though I've got a Waterview ticket. But, so it's all working. We'll exit it here. Now, one of the other things that I thought we'd do is it's really cool to have an item that will let you into any of the gates. The problem is we don't take the item of the person, which means they can keep coming back and keep using that item forever and ever and ever. So what I thought I would do is set up something that's quite common in a lot of the bigger cities now for allowing people to ride the train network, where you have a card which you fill up with credit, and that allows you to take a certain number of train trips or a certain number of rides on the network, and when it runs out you can refill it up again. And we can do that with open computers, especially in our network here where all the stations are connected by a computer cable. We can have the same system running right across the network, so that if you want to ride the Waterview line, all you gotta do is have a ticket that you picked up on Charcoal Hill, and then you can hop on at the Central, or Waterview, or wherever, and be able to ride as often as possible. But of course, to do that, we're going to need to have ourselves a system to do that, and there's a really cool mod, which is in this pack, which works with open computers for allowing us to print tickets. So we go into here though, I've been working on installing a lot of the OSs that we need to do this, because I'm working with so many hard drives, and the really cool thing I found is you can actually label the hard drives. So if we go label mount 2B6 as ticket controller, which then means if we go into here, you'll see that currently it's labeled OpenPrinter, but the moment we take it out and stick it down to here, it gets renamed to ticket controller. So now I can identify which hard drive goes where. You'll also see I've got another couple here which are ticket interface, and I'm sure you can work out what they're going to be doing. But if we can probably turn this guy off now though, and we will head down here, because the other thing I've done this time, head down here underneath the train station. Down here and on to the other side. You remember in the last episode I set up this rack and I was talking about the colours and having all the cabling and components all connected up. So that's all working. We've got all the gates installed. And you can see I've highlighted an area and I'm already prepared for running the new systems here. I've got another rack and another computer. Now, what I was thinking of doing is, this is going to be our network controller, so I'm also going to use this as an example machine. So let's throw ticket controller in there. Obviously put this in the bottom. Turn that on now, it won't complain like it was. Cool. Now, the mod we're going to be using to do this is called OpenPrinters. Now, what OpenPrinters does, as 3 blocks into the game. It adds the printer itself, a shredder, and a filing cabinet, plus some other little bits and pieces which we may need, including folders, but I'm not going to use most of those. All I really care about for this is the printer. So we're going to place the printer. Can I place it? Yeah, let's place it there. So now that the printer's plugged in, we should be able to go into the Lua. Actually, let's go to components, see what's connected. So there should be OpenPrinter, there it is, cool. So we'll go to Lua, and we're going to go component.openPrinter. So we should be able to do something like right line. So if we go hello, like that, and then we go print, like that. Please load ink. Well, mostly there. So we're going to here. So you can see in the interface we need black ink, color ink, the input for a scanner, which we're not going to be using at the moment, and some paper. So there's the color ink. The black ink is there. We need some paper. I don't know if I could use paper roll. Apparently can. Can we use normal paper? Paper. That's printed page. Paper. Yes, we can. I am curious though. What happens if we use printed paper? Paper roll. What's the recipe on that guy? Oh, okay. There's no recipe. So let's not do that then. Let's just go back to paper. 64 in there. So now that we've got all the stuff we need, we should be able to run that command. True. Cool. And it's given us a printed page. We go into here and we look at it. It says hello. Isn't that cool? But on top of that, we can do it again. So let's go back up. Right, hello world. And we can also, I believe, write something else. Maybe the options are on here. So set title. So if we set the title to that, and then we print it, it'll now give us a piece of paper labeled HS as what I put in the code. So we should actually be able to have a chest. Or actually, let's go use our transposer trick. So transposer there. In the oddest of places, but so if we go now component dot transposer get sides dot down, it should tell us it's here. For some reason, yep, that is a weird thing. If I move it out of the way, I'm just going to point something out because I've tested this already. If I move it out of the way, it says no inventory. So I'm not quite sure why a player is considered ear, but we can use that to our advantage. So let's make sure we're still in there. Yes, we are. So I believe it's stack and slot, or item in stock. Stack and slot. Sides dot down, comma 1. Open printer. Okay, so that's there. Let's go 9. 10. I can't remember what the whole thing is, but you can see open printer, printed page. If we go into there, and we'll just go put that to there, go back into there, you'll see that when we get the stack and slot, it now says the labels with you, which is our previous ticket that we set up in the last episode using a anvil. But if we grab slot 1, 2, 3, 4, you can see with this, the one we just printed, it reads as HSHS, which means we can read that back. Now, it doesn't give us any information on what's actually printed on the paper, but it does give us that label. So with that information, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write some code and see if I can get the system to print some tickets which are unique to our network and be able to read the tickets, and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, I'm going to give you a quick status update where I'm at with this, because it's taking a lot longer than I expected, because it looks like there's something weird going on. So I've got most of the controller code working, and that's running over here. The idea is that we have interfaces which will, well, the ticket booths, which is the interfaces, talking back to the controller, asking for tickets, issuing the tickets. And then of course we're going to have our gates over there, which are going to query the controller to get the information. That stuff should work. I've got a fake ticket in there and it works. Now I've got the printer printing stuff, and I can bring up the interface, it'll print a ticket, no worries. But I've encountered a problem where if I use the transposer to take stuff out, you can see here that the front is the chest, the back is the printer, right? So that's definitely a printer at the back and a chest at the front. All looks good. If we take out of slot number 1, we get the black ink. Now, that means that this should be slot 1. I'm assuming slot 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll head back here. We'll change this to be 5. Inverted slot. Okay. So if we take out a 1 again, we get 0, which is expected. Take a 2, we get the colouring. It's fine. Get back in here. Let's take slot 3. Inverted slot. So I'm not quite sure why a transposer pulls out of there. You would think you'd be able to do it with a transposer. But that's where I'm at. I've got most of the stuff working. I just needed to be able to get this transposer thing to work, because otherwise we're going to have to find a different way of doing this. But I'm going to go back to problem solving and working on a solution, and I'll be back in a moment. I think I've got it. I think I've found the issue. For some reason, it looks like OpenPrinter is a sided inventory, which means you have to take out of the site it requires to be able to get stuff out, which does limit our options a little bit, especially since a transposer can only take from one inventory, and in this case it has taken the top, and place into another inventory. You can't have two transposers. This could be a problem. But if you put the transposer underneath the printer and we run our command, then we get our paper. So for example, if we grab our test and we stick it back into here, we run this guy to transfer from the top slot of the transposer to the front slot, which is the chest. It moves it. So it is possible to move it. It's just gonna make the interface a little more tricky to do, because I wanted to have the one transposer where the player stands on it and we can read what they're doing. Can't do that. So I'm going to have to work out another way of doing it, but if nothing else, we've got a solution to that. Now the next thing I need to do is get all the main stuff working, which shouldn't take very long, but I'll finish that code up and I'll be back in a moment. So we want to top up the existing ticket. Closer. Let's add another trip. 1 diamond. take it. Updated. Let's walk on this piece. So good. That sounds very, very good. Okay, so we do that again. So we'll just walk that way. Add users. Perfect. Nice. Okay. So I think that's actually done it. Now, as you can see, we've got the interface up here. It's pretty small. It's designed for a large interface. Right, so I'm going to take that out of my inventory as well. So we go into here, and you can see this is what the interface looks like. Currently I'm charging 1 diamond per trip. Obviously that's all configurable. We get discounts, trip discounts, all that stuff. We can purchase a new ticket. We could say, let's go to the attraction station. We could do 1, 5, or 10 trips. Let's just go for 5. And it says 3 diamonds. So that's with the discount applied. It's waiting for the diamonds. We stick that into here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There's 3. That's cool. It's printed a ticket, telling us to take the ticket. So we get a new ticket for that, and you can see the name of this ticket is MyRail ticket nzHook K9S71336. Completely random ID, which would be really hard for something else to find. And we can now go into here. So if we put that into our offhand, I think it was that one, wasn't it? Put that into offhand, we can then stand over here. We can go top of existing, and it has 5 uses left. Let's add another trip onto there. So for another trip we add 1 more diamond, which there's already diamonds in there, so it should take that in a moment. Been updated, cool. One thing to note is it doesn't update this, but it does print the whole thing out. So MyRail ticket, hold this ticket in your offhand when passing a protected gate. This ticket is valid for attraction. And of course, we're now going to top of existing. It should now say we've got 6 uses. Yes, it does. Look at that. Very nice. We'll head over to here. We shouldn't be able to walk on this one because this is a water view station and this is an attraction ticket. Cool, so that's working as it should do. We can move this guy up to the top, but if we now head back up to the station. So this is the new gate. You can see it's got water view on it. The other ones haven't been updated yet. I was just testing. But you can see it's got water view to say it's going to the water view line. We can go into here, run this, and it will say 4 because now we've got 4 uses left. I'm not going to go in there. We can do that again. And now it's 3, because there's 3 uses left. Now, there is some setup required to get these things working. For starters, we need to go into here. I'm just going to reboot it, because it's hard to read otherwise. So, I've currently called it Ticket Reader 2. I'll probably call it something else in this actual uploaded code, but this will do. So the only thing you really need to do if you want to set this up yourself is you need to know the controller ID. And that's the name, the ID of the modem on the controller. Now when you start up the controller, it does set the... It outputs that to the modem.txt file in the root directory. So if you want to grab it, you don't know what it is, just grab it from there, nice and easy, and just paste it into there. Now this is a password. If you're running on a server, you might want to change that, but it doesn't really matter. Same with the COM port. The other thing you might want to change is the name of the network. So obviously in the MyRail world here, it's called MyRail Ticket. And the platform name is the name of this platform. So this is both what is shown on the screen, but also what is required to access. So if you're calling, if the tickets are purchased for attraction and you have water view here, it won't let you in. The rest of this is the same as the previous code. So we'll go Ticket Reader 2. And it will then change the GUI size and shows water view. So then when we walk over it, 2. If we take out the ticket, so now we don't have a ticket there, and we walk over it, Invalid ticket. Invalid ticket. Cool. That code works perfectly. I like that. So the idea is you've got a bit of visual feedback on what's going on there as well. Now the next thing I need to do is I need to move the interfaces up to here so that the ticket booths can be purchased. So give me a moment and I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so the cable has been run. You can see here we've got a brown cable and the purple cable. Now what we need to do is make sure we have this set up properly. So in the last step, in fact we'll start over here because it will make a bit more sense, right? So over here in the last episode I said that both of these need to be pointing at the same colour. So for example our red one here, you'll see is slightly different to the others because it's the one I was testing with. The red being the right. You can see that the top line goes to the red, which is fine, that's what we want, because that's where all the components are. So the main line, which is the very top line, covers off the Redstone I/O, the screens, the keyboard, and the transposers that are up there. But on top of that, it also needs to connect to the network. And that's the bottom line here. So you'll see the bottom line is actually connecting up to yellow. And that allows it to communicate with anything else in the network. So for the other three to work, we need to move them all to communicate over the yellow, but still staying where they are for the components. So we're just going to move these bottom lines to yellow. So that one there could be yellow, that one there could be yellow, and that one there could be yellow. Just the bottom one, yep. And the rest of them, of course, so that's the component for the blue on the bottom, and network is yellow. So now they can talk back to anything on this yellow line here that we've put in. Once again, we don't need to have it yellow, but you can see I've got yellow here just so I can track it. So the yellow is coming off the back there, it goes up, around over here, connects into the top of this rack, and you'll see that this rack is set to use the top there for the bottom, and the bottom for the rest of its stuff. So the bottom, of course, is the purple line along here. And I haven't run a server in for the brown, but we'll do that in a moment. The servers aren't too hard. They're just a graphics card tier 2 or 3. I don't think it actually needs to be tier 2. I think the other one I set up was actually tier 2. Yeah, so graphics card tier 2. A CPU. Now you can use accelerated CPUs. The problem is you'll lose any colouring that comes with it because they only put a tier 1 in. A network card, a little bit of RAM, and of course a hard drive, which isn't in here. It'll be in this one though. The hard drive there, and an EEPROM. Throw it into your rack, and we will be ready to go. So if we follow this cable along, which goes all the way around here, around over there, comes back around underneath here. You can see both of them are going along there. They come around and we head up this way. Closing that. We'll head around to here. You see I've got a hole here now where the cabling is coming in. What we're going to need to do is we need to have two chests, a screen. Now on the one below we had a screen by itself just like that, but I'm thinking I want to have a slightly bigger screen, probably big enough so you can use it remotely, well, easily like this. So that's not what I expected. So like that. We don't really want a square because the interface doesn't look very good in a square. We'll do something like that there. We'll probably need some way of getting into there. So we can connect those cables up. And then we need to have a chest for payment, which I think we can, well actually we need to let's put the printer in first. So the printer probably needs to go on top. So we need to put a hole there. No, we can't put a hole there. Once again, that whole sided thing comes into play here. We could put it here, or maybe here. Let's put it here for now. So we're going to put the chest there, I don't think I can open that either. Do we have that in a slab? Okay, doesn't look like we've got that in a slab. Let me try one of these guys here. Cool. Okay, so that lets me open it. So, we need... now we need to have an entrance again, so dig back into here again. Now we're going to put a transposer there. With the printer on top. Doesn't really matter which way we face it, although I'm thinking I might face it in towards this room. Like that. We'll need to place the ink and stuff in here, so we'll go printer. Ink, and some paper. That needs to be connected up the cable. This needs to be connected up the cable. At the back here, we're going to place in a chest of some form for storage. So that'll be our storage. So when someone pays something, it will take it from there and stick it into this chest. We will need to grab our cable, which, since it's the purple one that's connected, let's use the orange one for now. We'll run this down, probably under there works. And I'll just quickly go and reconnect it up once we've got everything else in. Now, we also need a keyboard. Now, this really isn't a requirement because the code is touchscreen aware, but if we want to be able to make changes to it, we will need to access it. So we've got the printer in, which is there, so we can take out. It's on the top, it's down there. We've got the storage chest. The other thing we'll need is another transposer to be able to read off, like, let's go about there. And then what will happen is they can walk up to here, they stand here, it'll read that. And as long as you've got a chest next to one of them, it'll use that as the payment and storage chest. We will also need that connected. Oh, look at that, perfect. And that should be the setup. So let me just head back down and I'll switch that over and I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so that looks like it's worked. Couple of things you need to make sure you do in here. Similar to the ticket gates, is we need to go in, we need to change the station name, which is what's shown and everything. Your comms port, your password, those need to all match up. Your controller ID here also needs to match up as well. These are your costs, so your diamond is the name that it shows in the interface and the actual item ID it's looking for. The side which payment is taken from, so we'll need to find that in a second and test it. The storage, which will be on the opposite side in our case. So assuming that this guy is on the front, then of course the actual storage is that one there. Other than that, that's all you need to change. So we should be able to exit out of there. We can go ticket interface. Could not access a transposer to take store payment. Please connect one. Which probably means that the transposer that is sitting there is facing the wrong way. So we're just going to move, try and place it where it will be facing the right way. Otherwise we'd have to change things around. So let's try that. No. Let me just debug this one and I'll be back in a second. Okay, I think I've found the problem. I've added a little more extra debugging in there, so if when you're setting this up, it will tell you what it's looking for. So, it is looking for the storage chest, which is this chest there. The one that we're putting the diamonds in. And in this specific case, it's seeing on its back side, it is seeing the frame chest that we placed here, which means we are the wrong way around. So let's quickly update that. We do that, save it, run it. There you go, that works, cool. Let's quickly, my inventory is empty, cool. Let's purchase a new ticket. We will purchase it for Waterview. And you'll note that when we're this far away from the racks, you can't hear anything, it's really quiet. So we'll purchase one, oh, that's timed out. Purchase Waterview, one trip. Please deposit 1 diamond. Down here. 1 diamond. Book it, that's cool. Ticket has been printed. We have a ticket, awesome. And you can actually see it in the front, so that's cool. We'll take that out, and we just want to also check that the transposer for reading works. So we'll go over to here, we'll go top up existing. Your single ticket has 1 use left. Awesome. Okay, so if we go over to here and we check this chest here, we have 1 diamond. Awesome. Very cool. Very, very cool. So what I'm going to do now though is I think we're pretty much ready to go for setting everything else up. We can go over to here and chest water here. That little beepy noise means that there is nothing left. Great, cool. We now can get on the Waterview station. Awesome. Right, so the last thing I'm going to do is set up the second one of these, and then we should be done. Okay, so I've set up the second interface. Move that chest along one, because if it doesn't require a block above it, it fits quite nicely under the screen. But this episode's taken a lot longer to do than I wanted because of all the code writing and the bugging I had to do. If you're interested in using it yourself, the code will be available down in the description below. But if you have enjoyed this episode or you want to use the code yourself, leave a comment down below. And if you're new to the channel and you liked what you saw, hit that subscribe button. But otherwise, have a great day and see ya!